What is up, guys? Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. Before we dive in this section and create our very first 3D game in this course, I'm gonna preview the game that we're gonna create and we are gonna talk about what we are going to learn. Now, the name of the game is Awesome Zombie Smasher. I know, pretty clever name, pretty creative. What can I say? I mean, thank you. Anyways, enough about me being silly. I am going to hit the play button so that we can go inside of our main menu. I did not care that much about creating some fancy menus with some cool stuff because we already created 2 menus so far, especially the one in the second section, so the Awesome Road Runner game. And you can use all of the knowledge that you learned in that section and the previous section to create something unique of your own. So that being said, these 3 buttons, settings, and these other 2 don't do anything. We only have the play button that we can click on and we will see a nice little animation of the camera. So bam, the camera will go here and now we are driving, well, our tank, which is in the gameplay scene. We can shoot bullets. Bam, we're shooting bullets. At the top left corner, you will see that we have our heart, which represents our health, and you will see this thunder, which represents the reloading time for our, well, shooting. Now, these obstacles can touch us and they can, well, subtract health from us. We are also killing zombies. Don't worry, the zombies cannot kill us. The point of this game is so that we kill zombies and also shoot obstacles along the way. As you can see as well, this is a 3D infinite runner game, so we will see how we can create infinite levels in 3D mode. And if I hit one of these obstacles, pay attention now to my health, bam, it decreases a little bit. Just pay attention at the top left corner. You will see that my health slowly decreases. So we will see how we can create this cool health bar that will decrease, so on and so forth. We can pause the game, we can resume the game, we can die. Now I have, well, put the damage amount of these obstacles to a very low number so that we can preview the game and I don't have to wait until our, well, tank dies. You can see that during this section. Now, this is not the only thing that we're gonna learn. We will see some cool 3D features. We will talk about lighting. We will talk about materials, textures, so on and so forth. And I know you're eager to create this game, so why am I still rambling, blah, blah, blah? Let's go in this section and create this cool game. Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. See you guys in the next video. Bam, gonna do this right here and create the project. You will see, well, what you see currently on my screen or what I am displaying to you. So the first thing, as always, what we need to do is import our assets, which are here. Now, for you, they are located under this video. Well, you will have to hover over here at the top left corner. So top left corner, hover on the video. You will see something at the top left corner appear, a blue button telling you like you can download assets or downloadable files or something like that. Anyways, under this video, you will see those files. You will have assets and complete project. So you will download the assets, which are these right here. I did not mention this directly to you so far, but indirectly I did this. And what I mean is something called organization. Now, this is not some concept that you need to go to college to learn. No, it's actually just creating files and folders to group everything what's important in your project. As you can see here, I have fonts in a separate folder, models, then here I have military, so these are other models, then I have materials for them, then here I have the models, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Here we have the prefabs, we have the sounds, we have here sprites, then we have separate folders for UI and for buttons. My point is that organization in Unity or in any your programming projects, be that if you're working on an iOS app, Android app, Unity game app, or Unity game application, it does not matter. You will need to organize your project. Why? Well, because it's really important to know where everything is located and your project looks cleaner. I have worked with a couple of people or worked with some projects that people gave me that were a mess. Now, they contained folders and inside they contained other folders with scenes and then another folder with other scenes. It was a total mess. They did not keep everything at the same folder. So the related items, for example, if you have scenes, you're going to keep them all in a scenes folder. If you have scripts, you will create a scripts folder and put all your scripts there. Of course, you can create subfolders like player scripts, enemy scripts, but you will organize all of that in the scripts folder. You will not create, I don't know, a prefabs folder and put a script in there. That is totally unorganized. And then later on, when you come back to that project, like after a week or a month or half year, you will have no idea where you are. So it's really important that you organize your project as you see me, well, do this right here. Now, before we import the assets by simply selecting them and dragging them and dropping them here in the assets folder, I'm gonna go here in the models folder. So it does not matter which models, let's say zombies, and I'm gonna go into the models. Now you see here we have something called a simple zombie.fbx. Now this .fbx is actually the extension name or the extension for the file name, which determines what that file is. So for example, if you have .mp3, that is a song file or an mp3 file. You can play that on your audio player or whatever. But this .fbx will denote that this is a 3D model. Why am I saying .fbx? It will denote that this is a 3D model. Well, you can export this in Blender, 3ds Max, I don't know, Cinema 4D, other 3D modeling software. I'm not that good at 3D. I know how to explain what I need to my 3D developer or 3D artist, or when I want to buy something, I know how I want that to look like. But if you give me Blender, believe me, I don't know. I don't even want to mention it. Anyways, you can export this file .fbx in those softwares. I'm telling you this because you have .obj, you have other extensions. For Unity, the best extension is this .fbx. So when you're buying 3D models online, or when you hire a 3D artist to create 3D models for your game or whatever you want to create, tell him, if you're working with Unity, of course, tell him that you want the files to be .fbx, because these files are the best ones for Unity game engine. Don't use .obj, don't use these or that, even though they can work, you can import them here, but .fbx, use them, and voila, you are good to go. So this is what I wanted to mention in regards to the models. Now we can select all these folders from fonts, models, prefab, sounds, and sprites, and simply drag and drop them right here. You see the plus button has appeared, and now we are importing the assets depending on how strong or, well, the components in your computer. If you have i7 or whatever processor, how many gigabytes of RAM, depending on that, it will take that much time to import these assets. As you can see, we have the spinning wheel that is gonna kill us right now. And we need to wait for Unity to import all of these assets. As I said, depending on how on your computer, it will take shorter or longer. But hey, you see me importing these assets, and let us just wait a little bit longer, and bam, here they are. Now you see we have some warning issues here. Don't worry about that. Simply click clear, and bam, we are done. So don't worry about these warnings. Ignore them completely. They will not harm us or our game. Just click clear in the console, and bam, we are good to go. Now I'm also gonna right click here and create a new folder. So this is in the assets, right click and create a new folder, which I'm gonna call scenes, not seams, but scenes with N, not M. And I am gonna hold command and press S, Control S on Windows, and save the current scene as gameplay. So gameplay like this, and I'm gonna click save, and bam, here we are. So this is our gameplay scene where we are going to start importing the assets and creating our level and whatnot. Now this was it for this video. Guys, we imported the assets, we talked about organization, even though we did it indirectly, not directly, but because I did not talk about organization, but indirectly you saw me organize my project, and that is something that you should always do. And we talked about 3D models and the extension they should have when you want to work with Unity 3D. So again, it's .fbx, so FBX. That's the extension of your 3D models that they should have when you want to work with Unity 3D. Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. I will see you guys in the next video. What is up, guys? Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. www.armytruck.com, and in this video I want to talk about something or a concept that is called a material. Now, what is a material? Well, that helps us to make our models look great in our game. And what do I mean by that? Well, if I go into the models folder and then military and models of the military folder and vehicles, and hopefully we don't have any more folders, which is the case, I'm gonna take the Truck Troop 02, so the last one, and I'm gonna put him right here. Now you see this is our model that we have imported. You see how he looks like. He's all white. I mean, called the Ghostbusters because we have ghosts over here. You see he is all white and we want to make him look good in our game. How can we achieve that? Well, we can achieve that, as you can see here, when we select him, you have something attached on him called a mesh renderer. This mesh renderer takes a material. You see here we have default material, this right here. I'm going to take the highlight tool. So, well, because I'm a good teacher, this right here that I have circled, this is a material that helps us, or it will make this model look great inside of our game. Now, how do we create a model? Well, first of all, if I go here into the models folder and vehicles, and if I take truck, actually military, and then prefabs, and then vehicles. So I'm actually in military, then prefabs, not models, but prefabs, and then vehicles. And if I go here, let's say I take Truck Troop 02A. You see how he looks like here? I mean, this is awesome. This looks great. It's not, we don't need to call the Ghostbusters, and we can, well, use this for our game. But how do we make him look great? Well, you see here on our Truck Troop 02A, if I take the highlight tool here, we have a material called Army Truck A attached on him. We already have this material. If I go here inside of the military and then materials, we will have here Army Truck A, which means that we can actually take it and simply apply it, you see, like this, by simply dragging it. You see, simply dragging on the model, you see it already displays how the model will look like. We can also drag it on the model here and simply release our button and bam. So you can either, I'm going to take the highlight tool. Sorry for the highlight tool, but I just like to explain things like this. You can either take the material here and drag and drop it directly here in the hierarchy on the 3D model or here in the scene, and it will apply that material on him. Now still our wheels or wheels on the left and on the right side, they don't have the material. So same material, simply drag and drop it like this here, bam, and drag the other one like this. So drag it here, bam, and now we have materials applied on our game object. Now these materials already came, they are already applied. Now how can we create our own material? Well, I can take the Truck Troop, and let me just go here, and I am actually gonna remove the material, reset, and take the wheels also here. Yeah, everything is reset. So we want to create our own material. Well, we can do that easily by simply right-clicking anywhere here. So I'm currently in the models, then military. I can right-click here, or you can go into the assets or create a separate folder, call it materials. But this is just for explanation purposes. So here in the military, I'm gonna right-click, create and material. So you see here, create and then material. And if I click here, we can call it truck material like this. Now we need to drag and drop a texture on it so that, well, we can make our model look nice. Now, how can we do that? Well, we can do that by simply going here. Let me just take a look at this. We have this armor car, or actually Armor Truck A. We reset it. So let me just go here and say Army Truck A, and bam, here it is. So this texture, we need a texture called Army Truck A. So if I go here, I'm gonna simply delete the other model. So go into the models, then military. And for our truck material, because the shader here is set to standard, these shaders, I don't know if you can read or see where it says shader. It says shader here, and you can click on this drop-down list to select different shaders, which we will see in a second. But these shaders determine how our game object will look like, how these materials or these textures applied to the material will look like on the model. What do I mean by this? Well, if I drag and drop the material, the truck material on our truck, you see it will change immediately. So I'm also going to drag and drop it on the wheels. And we see it changed our truck back to white. What is going on here? Well, the problem is that we did not attach any texture on this material. Because if you go here, military and then textures, you see here, these textures, it will come with 3D models. Now, when you buy 3D models online or when you hire a 3D artist to create your models, make sure that he also creates textures, or otherwise, well, you will get models looking like this, like ghosts and, well, yeah, you know, Ghostbusters and stuff. So make sure, usually, I mean, online, I never saw or bought any models that did not came with these textures, but it's a good idea to double check. Now, these textures, they will be applied on materials. So here we have our truck material. Now, for the standard shader, which is the default shader when you create a material, we need to click on this albedo, however it is called. So click on this little circle here. And again, I'm going to take the highlight tool just so that I can draw where that circle is. You see here, right here. So click on that little circle. When you click on it, you can search here for textures. And I'm going to search for army truck. So here it is, army truck, and bam! You see? You see, it automatically changed how our model looks like. Now, if I take the truck material here, and if I change him from standard shader to, I don't know, let's go here into, let's say, legacy shaders and diffuse. Bam! Did you see the difference? Did you spot the difference? Now, please, pay attention to the truck here in the scene. I'm gonna put him back to standard shader. Now pay attention to how he is going to look like. You see, he looks like a little bit blurry or whitened. He is a little bit more whitened when he is on the standard shader. Now you can go here, as I said, legacy shaders and diffuse, and bam, he already looks different. You can go, I don't know, VR, or let's say unlit, and then texture. You see, he also looks a little bit different. So what is the difference between these shaders? Well, these shaders are used for different purposes. For example, here you have the shaders for skyboxes. Now, skyboxes is this right here that you see. You see this right here? This is the moon. This is called a skybox. You also use materials for that. You make skies in your levels with that or in your games. Now, you also have shaders for mobile so that these textures and materials are easy for mobile devices for them to render them. So you can go here and let me just find here mobile. So you have mobile and you have, I don't know, let's say diffuse. So you see mobile diffuse looks a little bit different, but it is easier to handle on mobile devices, because if you want your game to be ported on mobile devices, you need to make it, well, compatible with those mobile devices. You don't want your game to lag and such, so on and so forth. Now, also here, this unlit, you see, every time we change a shader, you see also we have something called a directional light inside of our game. If I change it, you see, it changes the shadow. You see, it changes everything on our model. So let me just put it back. It was at 50. But if we use unlit, so if we go here and use unlit and I say texture, then the lightning will not affect our game object. So even if I change here, you see, I'm changing the lightning and the direction where the lightning is pointing at, but you see our truck here is not changing. He does not display shadows or anything because we use the unlit shader here. So we use the unlit shader, which is not affected by lightning in our game. If I take the standard back and take the directional light and move it, you see how the shadows are changing. You see everything here. If I put it back at 50, you see we don't have shadows here. Now, this is a pretty simple concept. You just apply a material and you just apply a texture to that material, and bam, you make your models look great in your game. Now, you can play with these shaders here, so you can test out different shaders. I'm not gonna go through every single one of these. So you have some for particle, you see here for nature, for sprites, UI, unlit, so on and so forth. You can also read online for these different shaders. You can also import different shaders from the Unity assets or find them online. Just go here and on Google and simply type bam, 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 and well, type out shaders in Unity or explanation about shaders in Unity, and we'll see more what they are and how, well, they affect how your model looks like. Now, this is it for this video. I just wanted to talk about our models or the shaders and materials that make our models look great, because I'm going to delete this one from our scene. I'm also going to delete the material that we have created because in the prefabs folder, I have pre-made already all of our, well, game objects that we can use. So for example, you have this one, you have this one, you have this one. I have made them already so that we don't need to create materials for every single one of these. The concept is the same as the one that I have just showed you. So right click, create material, attach a texture. Now imagine for 20 models, 30 models that we need to do it. Of course, you will do that in your own game development. It's part of the process. But since we are learning, we can only explain once, and we'll use this video as a reference if you want to create materials for other 3D models. Overall, this was about materials and how they affect our models, how they look like in our game. Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. I will see you guys in the next video.